Disney just needs to stop making 3D animated movies. But I don't think that getting rid of 3D animated movies is the answer. 3D animation was developed as a tool to assist 2D animators in creating these wonderful films.
Something that's more difficult to do in animation because we're pretty much locked with
Limited to flat.
It would be really great if we could generate this ballroom in the computer.
I want to point you to my absolute favorite example of 2D and 3D working absolutely in harmony together, Atlantis. No movie before it at the Disney company had ever used 3D in such a way that they were going to be using it in this movie. But the reason that it worked is because they were very methodical with exactly what they would make 3D.
Or make the computer graphics fit into the world we had created.
Next time you watch Atlantis, I want you to notice the machines. All of the machines are made in 3D. This is because there's a certain solidity to mechanical structures and man-made objects that we don't really see in organic things like characters. So instead of having an animator sit there and draw the drill thousands and thousands of times, or the Leviathan, for example, when they're down there in that giant submarine, which is also 3D by the way. Can you imagine sitting there and drawing all of that? Every single frame fit together. The colors, the shading, the line work, everything had to be believable in this world.
We decided to make it look as much like a cell-painted object as possible.
A lot of these scenes were essentially creating moving sets that people had to animate on top of. Like, for example, in the scene where Milo is looking out of the submarine, that is a 3D render and Milo is drawn on top of it. Even the crystal that we see as the life force of all the people of Atlantis, that's in 3D as well. That's just something that realistically would take too long to do in 2D.
And it would be really time-consuming and difficult to do all that kind of stuff by hand.
So instead of wasting time trying to make every little thing be hand-drawn, the animators were like, use 3D for the stuff that 3D is good for. The two mediums are so different and each one of them has its own individual strengths. And I don't think we're ever going to live in a world where it's just one or the other anymore. Most of the movies that you watched in the Renaissance and loved and are thinking like, oh man, I wish Disney would make those again. They were already using 3D techniques back then. Beauty and the Beast had it. Hercules had it. Because it was designed to help animators construct these elaborate machines and scenes and stuff that is just unfathomably difficult to do on paper. There is so much emotion and exaggeration and personality when you draw something in 2D animation. 3D in general, I think, has to take more of a realistic approach to how things move and express than 2D does because it looks so much more similar to the world that we live in every day. I have been in the camp for Disney to make 2D films again for literally ever. But as with everything, animation has evolved, and there's gonna be no turning back from what we know now. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It's not 3D against 2D. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you think that we should go back to 2D, should we stay in 3D, should we find this kind of like hybrid model and work from there? But otherwise, until next time, bye!